Welcome, everyone. This is your friend, the DN What If, here with another exciting fanfiction. Today, we're diving into the story of What If Deku Never Had One for All? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fanfiction content just like this. Now, let's get started with the fanfic. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a hot day, the middle of summer. At the playground, the sun was beating down. Kaken. Stop it, you're being mean. Kaken, my childhood friend Kaken. Katsuki Bakugo. Look, he's crying. And if you don't stop, I won't forgive you. He had always been better off than me. His family had a decent bit of money. He grew up with both parents. He was stronger than me too. He had a good quirk and everything. And I'd been trying to stop him from bullying someone. Kaken had scoffed. Oh, come on, Deku. Stop trying to play hero. He had taken a few steps closer. You're quirkless, you don't have a chance. Izuku Midoriya, was nothing like Kaken. My mom lived in an apartment and we had just enough money to live comfortably. I'd never met my father as far as I remember. He'd been away for work since I was a baby. He sent back money though. I wasn't anywhere near as strong as Kaken was. I was quirkless. I don't care. You can't just go around bullying people, Kaken. I had tried to act brave, but honestly, I was terrified. I didn't even win. All men are not created equal. This is the hard truth that I learned at age 4. 11 years later, I was on my way to Tatooine Station to catch the train to get to school. I was already running late. And just my luck, that's a huge villain. There was a villain. It all started in Qingping City, China. About 125 years ago now. In the early 2000s, a glowing baby was born. The first person with a quirk. Since then, more and more powers kept cropping up. And before we knew it, the paranormal became the normal. Dreams became a reality. Now, with about 90% of the world's population having a quirk, it's a superhuman society. In this chaotic new society, a new profession dominates our collective conscious. Death Arms. Someone in the crowd had cheered as the hero had showed up. I opened up my notebook. Death Arms. The punching hero who uses his strength for justice. He had a strength quirk. Hey, this is dangerous. So stay back. The crowd was held back from the fight with a line of water. The rescue specialist, Backdraft, has come to the scene. There were mutterings among the crowd. People asking questions, talking to each other, calling bosses and family about the train delay. What an awesome quirk, you turn into a monster. What did he do? Snatched a purse. He almost got caught and went crazy. A quirk like that and a thief, huh? I'm sorry, the trains. I don't know what time I can make it. Go Kamui. Somebody yelled. Another hero. Who is fighting? Kamui Woods? I muttered to myself, the young and talented rising star. A man off to my side in the crowd snickered. You ask but questions but commentate perfectly. You're an otaku, aren't you? I went a bit red. No. Kamui Woods spoke. Illegal use of powers during rush hour and robbery with violence. You are evil incarnate. I smiled. Here it comes. Show us something good, tree man. Strike. Kamui spoke again, preparing for an attack. Binding. Chain prison dash. Canyon cannon. He was interrupted as a new hero entered the scene, a giant woman that kicked the villain and defeated him. A large crowd quickly gathered to take pictures. She smiled and spoke. Today's my debut day, I'm MB Lady. She did a pose, happy to make your butt acquaintance. Along with powers came an increased crime rate. More people could cause more damage than ever before. While the country waited for new law reforms. People with courage became heroes, like from comics. Protecting society from evil. Heroes soon gained legality. Being a hero became an official position. Based on performance, they are rewarded. Money from the government and fame from the people. Gigantism, huh? I was muttering to myself as the crowd cleared out, writing in my notebook. Sketching out MT Lady. She seems popular and has a great quirk, but considering the city's damage, her movements may be limited. But if she can control it. He was interrupted by the man from earlier. Are you taking notes to be a hero? I paused. A hero? Yes. He smiled at me. Well, do your best, kid. I smiled a bit. Yes, I will. Aldera Middle School. You guys are in your 3rd year, so it's time you started thinking seriously about your future. The teacher spoke. Most everyone in the class paid attention. I'll pass out forms for your future plans, but everyone is planning on taking the hero course, right? The kids that hadn't been paying attention were now. And the whole class really cheered. Yeah, and a decent few of them activated their quirks. The teacher sighed. Great quirks, everyone. But using your quirk at school isn't allowed, okay? Katsuki scoffed. Teach, don't lump me in the same category as these rejects. He put his shoes on the desk. I don't plan to aim low like them. A few of the other students spoke up. Can't believe you, Bakugo. Yeah. You should all shut up. Bakugo snapped back. The teacher looked at his papers. Ah yes, Bakugo. You're planning on going to UA? The National Heroic School. There were whispers. The standardized rank score is 79. The competition is crazy. I knew about all that. I had planned on going myself. It did have one of the few hero courses that dropped its ban on Quirkless students enrolling. That's why I'm better than all you extras. Bakugo huffed. I aced the mock test. I'm the only one in the school qualified for UA. I'll even surpass All Might. My name'll be at the top of the list. All Might. He was, or well, had been, the #1 hero in the country. Quite likely #1 in the world. The symbol of peace. He's been gone. For about 5 years now. The country was starting to fall apart without him. Midoriya. The teacher spoke, my head snapped up. You want to go to UA too, right? The classroom immediately started talking. What? Midoriya? No way. He's quirkless. You can't get in on just test scores. I spoke up. They did away with that rule. And no one's tried. Hey Deku. Bakugo interrupted me. I flinched. You're not only a reject, but quirkless too. You're nowhere near my level. I stiffened up. No, wait, Kaken, I don't mean to compete with you at all. It's true. It's been my dream since I was a kid, and I have to at least try, you know? My voice grew quieter and shaking as I spoke though. Bakugo huffed. Try? Are you playing? What can someone like you do? You're quirkless. After school. Students were filtering out of the classroom, talking amongst themselves. I was writing in my notebook, littering to myself. This morning's incident is on the top page. I need to write it down. Kaken snatched my notebook. We're not finished yet, Deku. One of his friends looked over his shoulder. Katsuki, what's that? Kaken read the title and scoffed. Hero analysis for the future, really? Are you serious? I stood up. Come on, give it back. I reached for my notebook. Kaken huffed and used his quirk on it, before tossing it out the window. Most top heroes have legends, inscribed in their school days. I want to be the first ever from this school to go to UA High. So don't apply to UA? Alright. At least try to say something. Poor thing. One of Kaken's friends said. Snickering. Hasn't seen reality yet. Said the other. Kaken held up a hand for them to stop. Just don't try, okay? You'll just get killed anyways. Him and his friends left. I walked down a while after them, going to find my notebook. It was on a fountain. Fish eating at it. I grabbed it, it's not food. Stupid. It's my notebook, it was singed and wet. I had to check the pages to see if any of it as damaged too bad. Stupid. I wiped my eyes with my sleeve. Stupid JRK. I started walking home. 11 years ago. Mom. I'd been 5. Ran into the living room as I often did, in my All Might pajamas. To ask my mom to put on my favorite video. Mom, computer. She'd laughed. Again, Izuku? Hurry. I demanded, in that excited childish sort of way. She'd laughed again and went with me to put the video on the computer. I think this one reached 10,000 views just on you alone. I rocked back and forth in my seat, excited, as SH clicked play on the video. It was an old video, older than me. One hero's debut. Taken right after a huge disaster hit. A collapsed building fire. A crowd of people both come to see and already rescued. One of them hawked the video on their phone. Did you see? One person asked. He's already saved 100 people. It hasn't even been 10 minutes. This is crazy. Look, he's got more. The man had walked out of the wreckage again, carrying as many survivors as he could. Smiling, laughing. It's okay now, he said. Confident. Why, you say? Because I am here. It had been the debut of the greatest hero of all time. All Might. I had excitedly rocked in my chair, giving it a spin. He's so cool. I want to be just like him when I get my quirk. They'd gone to the doctor, not even a year later. You should give up. The man sitting across from them said. I dropped my All Might figure. Is there something wrong with him? My mom, she'd started to get worried about me. Most kindergartners have showed signs. It's just him. The doctor spoke up. Excuse me, you're a fourth generation, correct? What's your quirk? My mother sighed, pulling the toy I'd dropped towards her with her quirk. Well, I can attract small things. And my husband can breathe fire. The doctor sighed. By age 4, your child should show some signs of either quirk or a combination of the two. He started to get out an X-ray. In the past, they announced the result of an early study. It talked about if the pinky toe had a joint or not. If a body part isn't used, it's viewed as unnecessary. He placed the X-ray on a light board and turned it on. He continued, people with no joint were considered to be the new type. As you can see in this X-ray, Izuku has 2 joints. It's rare in this generation. He is the type with absolutely no quirk. When we gone home, I watched the video again. Blankly. My mother standing behind the chair, quiet. It had turned and looked at her. Crying. Mom. My voice quivering. He helps everyone with a smile. He's a hero. Can I be like him too? My mother, she had started crying. And hugged me. I'm sorry, Izuku. So sorry. No, that's not it. At that moment, I needed you to say. 11 years later. I made a promise that day. Not to worry about what others say. To try and be a hero, no matter what. The sewer cover suddenly popped up, and some sort of monster made of goo came out. A villain. I shouted. But it attacked me. It engulfed me, shoving liquid into my mouth. So, bungs. The villain laughed. It's okay. I'm just taking over your body. I struggled. Calm down, it will only be painful for about 45 seconds. You will feel much better. I started clawing at the goop. Can't breathe. How can you grab me? I'm liquid? The villain taunted. Thanks for everything, you're my hero. My body doesn't have strength. I'm gonna die. I'm dying. Somebody. The last thing I heard before passing out. I am here. And a bang. I woke up laying on the concrete, someone gently slapping my cheek. He smiled when I opened my eyes. This old, scrawny, sickly-looking man. Messy blonde hair with 2 long sections in the front. Bright blue eyes. Something familiar about his face. Thank goodness, he said, helping me up. I'm glad you're fine, kid. Thought I lost you there. I glances around. I thought I heard. He helped me brush off my clothes and handed my notebook back to me. You should get headed home soon. I'm sure your mother must be worried with you out this late after school's out. My attention snapped to him again. That face. His height, his hair. He was so thin, but... I gasped. Wait, All Might. He went stiff. No, dash. I shook my head. No, you have to be him. The blonde hair with 2 longer front sections, the bright blue eyes, your facial structure dash. I was practically bouncing on my feet, getting out a pen to have him sign my notebook. You have to sign my notebook dash. He held up his hands and backed up. Please, kid, quiet down dash. I held out my notebook and the pen. Please? Just an autograph. He sighed and took the pen. Signing it. It suddenly hit me. Wait. Nobody's seen you in years. What happened? All Might went stiff again. I kept going. Wait, and why are you so thin? What happened to you? All Might grabbed my shoulders. Kid, listen. Just calm down. Okay. And I'll talk to you for a bit, just let's get out of the middle of the sidewalk, yeah? Maybe I'll grab you something to eat? You've got to be late for dinner by now. He took me to some quiet, out-of-the-way place. Corner booth. Got me some food. And after a bit, he finally spoke. So, you want to know why I retired? Why I look like this? So, I nodded, and he brushed his fingers through his hair. I got into a fight 5 years ago. I beat the villain, but he lifted his shirt a bit. There was this giant scar on his side, under his ribs. Pretty nasty injury. They had to remove my stomach, a decent chunk of my respiratory system. I just couldn't keep up after. The hero commission and doctors made me retire. I stared for a moment. All Might, the greatest hero ever. And he'd been injured that bad in a fight. All Might had started to go ahead and get up, to go pay the bill. I grabbed his sleeve. Wait. I had a question still. I needed to ask. You should give up. I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry. What do you think you can do? You're quirkless. It might all be true, but still. I need to know. Could I ever become a hero like you, even without a quirk? Tattoo in shopping district. The goo villain stirred. Where am I? What happened? He was in an alleyway. I'm here. That be yesterday. If it weren't for that be yesterday. Katsuki and his friends were walking by. One of them spoke. Hey, Katsuki, aren't you and Midoriya childhood friends? The other spoke up. You go kinda soft, okay him. Almost sounds like you care about the loser. Katsuki scared. I don't care about him. I just don't want to get in trouble. He was quiet for a moment. Just watching him pisses me off. He's dreaming like a kid, needs to wake up and realize it's gonna get him killed like an idiot. One of his friends spoke. Hey, why don't we go to the arcade, huh? A change of pace. You'll come too, right, Katsuki? Let's go to the one in front of the station, there's lots of prey there, the other said. Katsuki sighed. Idiots. If we get caught, it'll end up on my record. He activated his quirk. The villain that was working snickered. A good disguise with a great quirk. I grabbed his sleeve. Wait. I had a question still. I needed to ask. You should give up. I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry. What do you think you can do? You're quirkless. It might all be true, but still. I need to know. Could I ever become a hero like you, even without a quirk? All Might stared at me for a moment. Kid, pros are always risking their lives. He spoke. I can't simply say, you can become a hero even without power. If you want to help others, become a police officer or a doctor. It's not bad to dream, but you also have to be realistic. He left. Be realistic. He'd heard it so many times. Be realistic. Tattoo in shopping district. He still can't face reality. You need to think seriously about your future. You need to be realistic. Even a pro hero said it. He rubbed his eyes with his sleeve. You knew, don't cry. You knew, didn't you? The reality. You knew. That's why you were trying so desperately. You were averting your eyes. Not looking at reality. I had somehow ended up wandering towards a crowd, watching a villain attack. A habit. I need to stop paying such close attention to these. It's no use anyways. One voice shouting out of the crowd caught his attention though. A child was taken hostage? Is that some sort of explosion quirk? Kaken. I forced my way through the crowd. Death Arms had been trying to fight the villain, the sludge villain that had gotten him earlier, but had stepped to the side. Emmy Lady was here but struggling to get to the fight. Backdraft was busy holding back civilians and fighting a fire. Kaken's explosions had started. Kaken. The sludge villain had him. He was trying to escape. Using his quirk, making the situation worse in the process. All that could be done was wait for someone with a more suitable quirk. Pathetic. Kakin needs to hold on. Pathetic. Help will arrive soon. A hero will. Soon. My feet moved before I could think. Someone shouted, "Stop." Why did I run? What am I doing? But Kakin was fighting still, set off more explosions. Die. What do I do? I threw my notebook, my backpack. It hit the villain. And I ran forward to claw at the goo restraining Kakin. Kakin. Kakin fought his mouth free. Idiot. What are you doing? My legs moved on their own. I don't know why though. Maybe there were multiple reasons. Unless I try. Kakin. It's been my goal. All Might saved everyone with a smile. And at that moment, you looked like you needed help. All Might, he had been in the crowd. And he ran in that moment, despite being retired. Despite his injuries, and helped. There was this blast of air pressure, and the villain was defeated. After this, heroes collected the scattered sludge and safely delivered it to the police. I got majorly scolded by the heroes, although they left All Might alone. I guess they knew who he was. Maybe he showed them his old license. Kakin was praised for his bravery and quirk. I wanted to apologize to All Might, but he'd left quickly. Probably didn't want to be seen too much. I'll try messaging him on his old website when I get home. Kakin came up behind me as I was walking home. Hey! Deku! I turned. Kakin! He grabbed me by the collar of my shirt. You shouldn't have done that. I didn't need your help and it was stupid. And you didn't help me either, got it? He stormed off. Just as Kakin had said. I didn't help anything, I didn't change anything. I am here. I turned to look again, surprised. All Might? Why are you here? He smiled. I come with thanks, a correction and a suggestion. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have stepped in to help. Thank you. I blinked. What no? I got in the way more than anything. It was stupid of me, jumping in even though I'm quirkless. All Might put his hand on my shoulder. Kid, it was because none other than you jumped in, timid and quirkless, that I was able to act. He sighed. Most top heroes have stories from their school days. Most of those stories have one thing in common. They move to help someone without thinking. Before today, I had lost that. The instinct to run in and help. That's what it means, what it is to be a hero. For some reason, I remembered my mother's words. I'm sorry, Izuku. I had started crying. All Might continued, that was what happened back there, wasn't it? Yeah. I responded. That's not it, Mom. Back then, what I wanted you to say. What I needed to hear. All Might smiled at me, you can become a hero. Dreams can become a reality. By the way, I forgot to mention. This is the story of how I became the world's greatest hero. The former number 1 hero, All Might. Age, unknown. Quirk, unidentified. He dashed onto the scene of the hero world and received unwavering popularity based on his ability. After he appeared, the once high rate of crimes committed by villains had fallen year after year. And his existence itself became a deterrent. He became the symbol of peace in both name and reality. And that man said to me, you can become a hero. I wanted somebody to tell me that my entire life, and the man I looked up to most said those words to me. Can anything be more shocking? So, I'll be taking you on as my apprentice. He patted me shoulder. It only makes sense for the old Quirkless hero to train a new one. Apprentice and wait. Quirkless? Said Chef. He sighed. Yes, Quirkless. It's a secret I've kept for years. Hero Society had always had a few Quirkless heroes, since its beginnings. Each generation of us has taught the next, passed down techniques, tips, tricks. We've almost always hidden it. I always use support items to mimic a quirk. Dodged the question of what my quirk was in interviews. I scrambled with the new information. All Might? Quirkless? But that blast of air pressure back there dash. He pulled up his sleeve, showing a process of gear under it. A gauntlet of sorts. I haven't used them much in the past few years, but I still carry them on me. I was stunned. All Might pulled back down his sleeve. Anyways, young man. I'm going to train you to become a hero, The next Quirkless hero. Get in touch with some old friends of mine to get you gear. If you want, that is. Maybe we won't even have to hide it, now that UA's hero course allows Quirkless students. Yes. Absolutely. I stuttered. I would be honored. All Might ruffled my hair. Good then, but let me tell you, it won't be easy, kid. Dagoba Municipal Beach Park. 2 days later. All Might had sat himself up on top of a fridge. Figured, try and see if you can move this. I looked at him. You weigh 274 kilograms, right, Dash? Wait, no, you wouldn't anymore, Dash. All Might huffed. You think a lot, kid. Just try and push it, come on. I went and tried to shove the fridge, pull it, push it. Couldn't get it to budge. All Might watched me. I laid on the sand. All Might, why am I dragging trash at the beach park exactly? He got down. For one, stop calling me All Might. I'm retired, it's Toshinori. And for two, you need to get stronger, kid. I sat up, listening. Toshinori continued. If you want to get into UA, you're gonna have to work 3 times as hard as this other kids. It's just a fact. So, you're going to need to get stronger, can't have you staying all week nerd arms now. Or even with gear you'll be crushed in the entrance exam. I paused for a moment. I'm picking up trash to train my body then, to get stronger. Yes. Toshinori responded. Although, it not just that. After some research yesterday, I discovered this part of the beach has been like this for some time. Oh, yeah. I knew about that. For some reason, because of the currents, objects drift here a lot. People take advantage of that to hide their illegal dumping. The local residents don't come near here either. Toshinori nodded. Heroes these days are all about the showy, flashy stuff. Back in the old days, being a hero meant community service, even if people called that boring or whatever. You can't waver from those roots. Toshinori stood up. So, your first step to becoming a hero? Restoring this whole section of beach. Wait, first step, Dash? I blinked, glancing around. This whole section? Toshinori crossed his arms. You want to go to UA, don't you? I perk up. Yeah. It's where you went, and it's one of the only schools in the country that's lifted its ban on Quirkless hero students. So it's gotta be that one. Toshinori nodded. You're a go-getter, kid, but UA is tough for a kid with a quirk even. And like I said before, you're gonna have to work at it 3 times as hard to make it even a fraction as far, kid. And you're gonna need all the strength you can get to pass that entrance exam. So, in 10 months before the UA entrance exam, you need to get absolutely ripped, kid. He pulled something out of his pocket. And that's where this come in. It was a chart of sorts. I came up with this. The aim to pass, American Dream Plan. He handed it to me. It's a training schedule to help you finish cleaning up the beach on time. I looked it over. Even sleep time is included. Toshinori nodded. Frankly, it's a really hard schedule. Can you follow it? Of course. I responded quickly. I have to work a lot harder than anyone, or else I won't be able to do it. And so began my 10 months of hell. Carry that to the park entrance. Toshinori was almost always there, instructing me. Put it in the truck. Depending on the size and shape, the muscles K have to use are completely different. Run. Toshinori told me as he sat off to the side. 10 months will be over before you know it, kid. Aldera High School. Let's see. I had my training schedule out, barely paying attention to what the teacher was saying about the Building Standards Act and Minister of Land and such. This is tough. 10 months or this, huh? I got out a notebook, writing down a proposed change schedule. It'll be hard if I don't finish the week before the exam. I started muttering to myself. Which means there are 294 days left. Taking into consideration a sufficient recovery PRD. If I rest for 2 days in between, that give me about 98 days of real training even if I'm efficient. I can get in about 5 hours of training morning and night. So that's 490 hours. Also, that beach cleanup doesn't work out any specific parts of the body. If I don't work out my whole body equally, I won't make it. Literally intensive training to become a hero. Toshinori can't stay and watch me the whole time. If I don't do as much independent training as I can, there's no way I'll be able to catch up the way I am now. I wrote something down. Anyway, I'll have to cut dash. Midoriya, hey. I was interrupted by classmate. Did that encounter with the villain make you go crazy? I was running after Toshinori with some trash, training. I was staring to slow down. Running out of breath, weak. And then I collapsed. Toshinori stopped and went to check on me. Figured, what's wrong? There are only 3 months left. Won't make it if you're passing out like this? He paused for a moment. Wanna give up, kid? I shook my head, pushing myself up. Toshinori huffed, crouching down to my level where I was sitting on the ground. Wanna take it easy for the day? I shook my head again. He looked at me for a moment. Overwork. He sighed. Kid, I made the aim to pass. American Dream Plan, specifically what your body and mind. To make sure you'd make it in time for the entrance exam. You haven't been following it, have you? I looked down. He pinched the drive of his nose. Kid, overdoing it will have the opposite effect. Don't you want to get in? I sighed. I do. But I can't just get in. I have to work a lot harder than other people. Or I won't be able to catch up. I want to be like you. I want to become the greatest hero, like you. Saving people with a fearless smile. Toshinori paused for a moment and sighed. Kid, you're thinking ahead for much. You're a go-getter, I like that. But you really can't rush things now. He paused for a moment. Tell you what, I understand your feelings. So, leave it to this old guy to adjust your plan. I looked at him. You're not old. He laughed. Dagoba Municipal Beach Park. Before I knew it, it was 6 a.m. on the day of the entrance exam. February 26th. I had spent all morning cleaning the beach, and by the time Toshinori got there. Hey kid, he was surprised. You even clean outside of where I told you to. There's not even a speck of dust left. Good work. I was tired, generally sweaty. He ruffled my hair. You surprised me, kid. Finishing this all up last minute. And geez, look at you. He got a picture out of his pocket. This is you, from 10 months ago. I was a lot weaker and scrawnier then. You did good, you really did. I sniffled. This feels like cheating. I mean, you did all this for me. I'm truly blessed, Toshinori. Toshinori put a hand on my shoulder and pulled me over towards him a bit. Hey, what were you saying after all this time? This was all you, kid. Your hard work. He wiped my eyes for me. We'll have to fix this leaky eyes of yours. Now, for your award ceremony, kid. He let go of me and went to grab something. A duffel bag. This is something I was once told. Something that you receive because you're lucky, and something that you are given because you are recognized are different in essence. Take that to heart. This you have earned because of your own effort. He handed me the bag. And I took the reality that would be surprising even in comics in my hand. 8:40 a.m., same day. UA entrance exam location. I made it. In the end, I didn't have time to test out the new gear All Might had given me. He said he already got the forms for having it filled out with the school for me. I fidgeted with the gauntlets. They were mad like All Might's old ones. Different color and size, same function. Weaponizing compressed air. Out of my way, Deku. I got shoved. Kakin. I said, surprised. Tiff. Don't stand in front of me. And turn back now. You're gonna get killed in that test. He trudged on though, didn't stop to pick a fight with me. Several kids muttered amongst themselves about him as he walked on. Ever since that day, Kakin didn't sow anything to me. I was just scared of him out of habit. I'm different from before though. Remember these past few months. Take the first step. To being a hero. I tripped. Immediately. Welp, I'm a failure of guess. I was caught though by some sort of invisible force. The girl helped me back upright. Are you alright? I was a tiny bit baffled. She smiled and held up her hand. She had little pink finger pads. Like a cat. It's my quirk, sorry for using it without asking first. But it'd be bad luck if you fell, right? I kinda froze. My brain basically blue-screened. She just kept smiling at me, Aren't you nervous? A dash, I stammered. She patted my shoulder. Let's do our best in the exam, okay? See ya. She walked off. Entrance exam orientation. We'd all been sat in a big room, and Present Mike came up on stage to tell everyone about the exam. For all you examinee listeners tuning in, welcome to my show today. He was very loud, energetic, flamboyant. I'd never seen him in person before, but I did listen to his radio show a lot. Everybody say, hey. He shouted into the crowd. Nobody responded. What a refined response. He just moved on. Then I'll quickly present to you a rundown of the practical exam. Are you ready? Yeah. More silence. Although, muttering began. It's the voice hero, Present Mike. Wow. I listen to him every week on the radio. I'm so moved. All the teachers at UA are pro heroes. Present Mike brought up a map on the screen. As it says in the application requirements, you listeners will be conducting 10-minute mock urban battles after this. A little, you are here, appeared on the map. After the presentation, you'll head to your specific battle center, okay? Silence. Okay. More silence. In other words, they won't let you work with your friends, huh? Even more silence. I looked at my exam ticket and the person next to me's. Even though the examinee numbers are consecutive, we were assigned to different battle centers. Kaken huffed and pulled his exam ticket out of view. Don't look, he huffed. DMN. Present Mike continued. There'll be 3 different types of faux villains stationed in each battle center. He brought up an image of all of them. You earn points from each of them dependent on their difficulty. Your goal, listeners, is to earn points by immobilizing faux villains. Of course, attacking other examiners and other unheroic actions are prohibited. A dark-haired boy with glasses spoke up from the crowd. May I ask a question? Present Mike pointed at him. Ask away, listener. The boy pushed up his glasses. On the printout, there are 4 types of villain. If this is a misprint, then UA, the main prominent school in Japan, should be ashamed of this foolish mistake. We examinees are here in this place because we wish to be molded into exemplary heroes. In addition, you over there with the curly hair. He painted at me. I froze. You've been muttering this whole time, it's distracting. If you're here on a pleasure trip, you should leave immediately. Sorry. I mumbled. Present Mike spoke again. Examinee number thanks for the great message. Thefruth Typiophyllin is worth 0 points. That guy's an obstacle, so to speak. There's on in every battle center. It's not impossible to defeat, but there's no reason so defeat it either. I recommend you try to avoid it. The glasses boy spoke again. Thank you very much. Please excuse my interruption. I see. It's like an obstacle in a video game, huh? It's all like a video game. Present Mike spoke. Well, that's all from me. Finally, I'll give you listeners a present, our school motto. The hero Napoleon Bonaparte once said, a true hero is someone who curses life's misfortunes. Go beyond, plus ultra. He started to walk out. Now, everyone, good luck suffering. Battle Center B. I stood outside the battle center. Getting ready. It's time to do it. It's time to give everything I got from my training with Toshinori these past 10 months. I will become the hero I always dreamed of being. The hallowed grounds of UA. The school with the best hero training course in the world, the place every kid wants to go. Sure, there are similar programs out there, but they don't hold a candle to UA's, which is why it's almost impossible to get in. The school alumni list is a who's who list of idols. All Might, the most famous pro hero there ever was. The legendary peacekeeper, with the most wins under his belt. The fiery hero, Endeavor. Not to mention the denim-clad, award-winning Marvel, Best Jeanist. Graduating from UA is basically a requirement if you want to be a great hero. And so, I held my head high and marched towards the entrance exams. This was it. The first step towards achieving my dream of becoming a pro. The rest of the examinees gasped at the sight of the training grounds. This is nuts. It's like a whole city. Can you imagine how much it cost to build this? UA is amazing. The speaker system started, present mix voice coming over it. Like your application said, today you rockin' kiddos will be out there conducting 10-minute mock battles in super hip urban settings. There are 3 types of faux villains in every battle center that you'll warm points from by defeating, based off difficulty. So better choose wisely. Your goal in this trial is to raise your score by shredding these faux villains like a mid-song guitar solo. And the speaker system cut out. I gulped. Hey, this is it. A mock battle. I looked around a bit. How come none of these guys seem nervous at all? Are they that confident? Some of them have special gear too. At least I'm not the only one. I fidgeted with my gauntlets, subconsciously. The girl from earlier caught my eye out of the crowd. The nice girl I met at the front gates, who stopped me from falling. I should probably thank her for earlier. I had started walking towards her, but was stopped by being grabbed. I yelped and turned to look at him. The glasses guy. From earlier. He frowned at me and gestured at the girl. She looks like she's trying to focus on the trials ahead. What are you going to do? Distract her and ruin her chances to succeed? I stuttered. No, of course not. I was cut off when multiple others noticed me and started talking. Hey, over there, that's the guy who almost bit it out front earlier. He practically wet himself in the lecture hall. Dude, what a loser. But one less rival to worry about, I guess. He's out, spoken after felt almost simultaneous amongst the examinees. I feel like everyone's already written me off. Present mix voice suddenly came through the speaker. Right, let's start. Basically everyone jerked to attention, a bit shocked for a moment. Get moving. Present mix voice insisted over the speaker. There are no countdowns in real battles. Run, listeners. You're wasting airtime here. Huh. I glanced around and saw everyone else had already started running off. Crap. I started running after. I'm already behind. There were multiple villains already destroyed as I ran through. Crap, there aren't gonna be any villains left for me to defeat. Just calm down. This is fine. I have plenty of time, I'll catch up to them. After all Might trained me. Toshinori had helped me fasten the gauntlets on my arms. They're all set. I flexed my arm, my fingers. It doesn't feel much different. Toshinori patted my shoulder. Of course not. These things were made not to imp our movements any. But trust me, when you actually use them it'll sure be a hell of a lot different. I sighed. My stomach's in knots. I haven't even had a proper shower and ate before the exam yet. All Might stood up. Well then, you should get going before you're late, but one last thing first. You may have gotten stronger, but you haven't gotten to take these for a test drive yet. Be cautious. The kickback can be a lot if you haven't used them before. Huh. I looked at him. He shook his head. There's no time to go into the fine details, but take note. You've got to prepare yourself before using this. So you want to clench your butt cheeks and yell from the depths of your heart dash. I was panting running through the training grounds. As I turned a corner, I gasped. Wah, on pointer. It turned to me, target acquired. Commencing attack. It got ready to attack me. Gotta dodge. Why won't my feet move dash? Holy crap, I'm gonna die. I gasped as a laser shot through the faux villain. And this flashy French guy showed up out of nowhere. Merci beaucoup. We make a great team with you as my decoy, although I doubt I'll be seeing much of you in the future. He started running off. Adieu. What did he mean by that? Present mix voice came from the speakers. 6 minutes and 2 seconds left. I yelped and started running again. Not good. Come on, I need points fast. I gasped as I saw the girl from earlier, having lifted a robot into the air using her quirk. Release. It fell, smashing on the ground. Good. That should be at least 28 points. I was a bit shocked. 28 points? The glasses guy grunted, fighting as I ran past. That puts me at 25. How'd he get so many? There were other people fighting as I ran through, looking for a faux villain to defeat for points. 32 for me. Hey, back off, that one's mine. First come, first serve. At this rate, there won't be any enemies left. I'm gonna fail. A group of faculty was observing the mock battles on screens. An animal of some sort, perhaps a mouse, cat or bear, spoke. Examinees have no idea how many villains are present or their locations. They have limited time and must cover a vast area to hunt down every last target. Some use information-gathering abilities to plan out strategies, while others rely on speed to pull ahead of their peers. Of course, remaining calm under pressure can be a huge advantage, as can pure power and combat ability. The most successful students use a combination of all these tactics. They're the ones who rack up the highest scores. A teacher spoke up. I'd say this year's group looks promising. Another hummed. Well, there's still plenty of time before it's over. The real test has yet to come. Several examinees murmured and gasped around me as this huge robot came crashing through the mock city. President Mick's voice came over the speakers. Think of it as a hurdle you should try to avoid. I recommend my listeners try to avoid it and focus on the one topping the charts. I squealed and ran. Isn't this a little extreme? Myself and several other examinees ran screaming. Now things get interesting. Toshinori sat in the room of teachers, watching. A person's true character is tested when they're faced with danger. I was running from the 0-point foe villain, gasping. This is a disaster. I've got to run and find some smaller villains. Crap. I still have 0 points. President Mick's voice came over the speakers again. Less than 2 minutes remaining. I gasped. Less than 2 minutes. Everything Toshinori taught me. Everything he did for me. The time he spent on me. All that training. It'll be wasted. I heard that girl from earlier. Oh, she was trapped under rubble. I'm sorry, I didn't ask first. I figured you wouldn't mind me catching you. There are no combat points rewarded for taking on the humongous villain. I started running towards her, towards the 0-point robot. But there is opportunity. A chance to shine. I jumped up, higher than I thought I could actually. A few others gasped. To show what you're truly made of. I clenched my fist and pulled it back. So clench your butt cheeks, kid. And yell this. I muttered to myself, from the depths of your heart. I released that pre-assure the gauntlets had built up. Giant wave of air pressure. Smash. The robot was crunched in several places, stopping from the damage. That's right. Show who you are. Embody what it means to be a hero. Nothing is nobler than self-sacrifice. This is kind of like when I tried to save Kaken. I moved without thinking. But now I'm stronger, and I have my gear from Toshinori. Power. Just 1 minute left. President Mick's voice came over the speakers. Okay, I jumped up here. So maybe I can get myself down too? Like when All Might would jump up places really high. Landing should be easy, right? Right. The pain suddenly hit me. It felt like I'd broken something. You may have gotten stronger. But you haven't used these yet, so be careful. The kickback on these things can be intense. He warned me. I should have listened. I can barely handle the kickback on that sort of power, even after 10 months of training. I got way ahead of myself attacking the giant villain. I'm acting like a pro, when I don't even have enough skill to be a sidekick. I looked at the ground, falling rapidly. This isn't over. There's got to be something I can do. The smash. Break my fault with the air pressure for the gauntlets. It's my only chance I've got to survive. My legs and my right arm are broken, so just one option. I pulled back my arm. Getting ready. I can do this. But if my timing's off, then I'm toast. Even if I live, I've got 0 points. And if I break my left arm too, there's no way I'll pass the exam. And release. My fall was stopped. And then I fell the rest of the way to the ground. Nowhere near as hard. That girl, she stopped my fall again. I looked over at her. She was vomiting. Seems like it took a lot out of her. At least she doesn't seem injured. That's a relief. And now, thanks to her, I still have a chance. To get at least 1 point before it's over. And that's it. Present Mick's voice came over the speakers. Time's up. An alarm blared. I sighed and doubled over. Damn it. I could hear others talking around me. Did you see that dude's attack? I didn't think he had that kind of strength. Me either. Looked like some sort of strength-type quirk, but there was something else. If he has such an amazing quirk, how come he didn't snag any points all day? Maybe he was trying to trick us. Joke's on him, there's no way he's passing with a 0 score like that. True. But you gotta admit, that was a pretty amazing move. You're all missing the point, don't you see what he did? The boy with glasses spoke up. He sacrificed everything just to save that girl. He must have known how little time was left, how many points he needed to pass, that he was putting his life on the line. But despite those concerns, he didn't hesitate to jump. If this hadn't been an exam, then of course, Iz would have done the same thing. He stopped for a moment. A old lady walked in, recovery girl. Pro hero, UA school nurse. Very nice, good work all around. You're heroes in my eyes, every one of you. She smiled and started handing out little baggies of gummies. Here, reward yourselves. Have some gummies. Oh, thanks. She smiled more. Don't eat them all at once, okay? Thank you. That mademoiselle. The French boy spoke up. She's the heart of UA. She walked up to me, a worried look on her face. Oh my goodness. You were hurt this badly by your own quirk, Sonny. I stuttered for an answer, how to explain. If or not I should reveal that I don't have any quirk at all and it was just kickback from my gear. But she simply helped me up off the floor a bit. It's like your body isn't used to handling your own power all. Gimme some sugar. W a dash? She gave me a kiss on the forehead. What's she doing? A student asked. The French boy spoke again. You're watching UA's school nurse in action. The youthful heroine, recovery girl. Her quirk is a great boost of healing power. She's the only reason UA can hold these reckless exams. Look, she's saving him months of recovery time. He was right, my arms and legs mended themselves quickly. She patted my hair. All right, you'll be fine now. Anyone else injured? Izuku. Mom tapped my shoulder. Snap out of it, Izuku. I snapped to attention. Sitting up straight. Hadash. She sighed. Izuku, honey, why are you smiling at that fish? Should I be worried about you? She checked me over a bit worried. I pulled away a bit, putting up my hands. I had spaced out and in 3D0 staring at my dinner. Oh, sorry, no. No, Mum, I'm fine. Just spaced out for a minute. She just gave me a soft smile. MHM. Of course, sweetie. Based on my own estimates, I barely passed the written part of the exam. Not that that really matters when I completely flunked the practical. A big, fat 0 on the mock battle. Not a single point. I haven't been able to get into contact with Toshinori since then either. He must be so disappointed in me after all that training. My mom ruffled my hair, snapping me out of it. I know, honey, waiting for the results is terrible. She smiled, I guess. No matter what, I just want you to know I'm proud of you, and I'll always think you're the coolest. I sighed. Sure. I didn't tell Mom about my training with Toshinori, or the gear he gave me. I didn't tell her I'd even met him. Or about his injury. I didn't want to spill all his secrets like that. He trusted me. Toshinori, All Might. Somehow, someway you saw potential in me. You have me what I needed to succeed. But I failed. I let both of us down so much. I'm sorry. But I'll keep trying. A few days later, I was sitting on the couch. Just doing a small workout. I needed to keep trying. My mother came into the room, smiling. A letter, Izuku. The test results, they came. Ah. She handed it to me, looking hopeful. I went to my room to open it. I tore open the letter, and this little disc fell out. I almost fell out of my seat when it started playing a projection and Toshinori's voice said, I am here. As a projection. I got back in my chair. Wait, Toshinori. This is from UA-. The projection kept playing, interrupting me. It's a projection. He coughed, like having exerted himself from the yelling earlier. I know it's been a while, but with great power comes a great amount of paperwork. My apologies, young man. But I didn't just come to this city for no reason. You're looking at the newest UA faculty member. UA faculty? Like a teacher? Toshinori is going to be a teacher at UA? Toshinori paused for a moment. Yes, what's the matter? Who's showboating? Someone spoke to him, and he paused for another moment. Oh, sorry. I'll wrap it up. I just have to tell him something first dash. He was told something else, and he looked surprised. Wait, I have to do how many of these things? He sighed. Right, so moving on. He cleared his throat. I gulped. It couldn't be good news. I'd failed the test miserably. Toshinori continued. Even though you passed the written test, you got 0 combat points in the practical exam. Sorry. I looked down. Fidgeting. I know that. Of course I know. It's all I've thought about. I sighed. I'm a failure. All Might continued though. Fortunately, there were other factors. I paused, looking back up, but before we get to that, I have another surprise. Here, look. A video played. It was that girl. She stopped present Mike at the exam location. Provably after the exams. Do you have a sec? Sorry to interrupt. All Might smiled. She showed up after the exam to talk about you, young man. She spoke more. You know that boy? With the curly green hair and the freckles and red eyes? Kinda shy seeming. She means me. I was wondering, she continued. Would it be possible to give him some of my points I earned in the exam? I heard him say something about wanting to get just 1 point in. Which seems crazy. How could he have taken down that huge villain and not have even 1 point? You'd never be able to hang out with the best of the best. He would have had a better score if he hadn't stopped to help me. There was absolutely no reason for you to put yourself in danger like that. He saved me. I have to make it up to him. Please, sir, can't you just give him my points? He deserves to pass. Toshinori smiled over the projection. You have more power now, yes. But it's your actions that inspire others, kid. That inspired me. And that's why I'm here. You see, the practical exam wasn't graded on combat alone. My eyes went wide. Present Mike spoke in the video. Thanks for showing up to the station with your request, but there's no reason to give him your points. The kid's charting well on his own. Toshinori spoke. You Midoriya, how could the hero course reject someone who is committed to saving others, no matter the consequences to himself? After all, that is what makes a hero. And that's what my alma mater is all about. Training those who would risk their lives for the greater good. I was outright crying by now. Have I passed after all, dash? It wasn't all for nothing. So, we have rescue points. Toshinori continued. A panel of judges watches, and they away points for heroic acts. Beyond just fighting villains. Izuku Midoriya, 60 rescue points. And Ochako Uraraka, 45 rescue points. You both passed the exam. It has to be some kind of joke. Welcome, Izuku. He smiled. You have made it. You are now part of UA High. It took a lot of help, but my life has changed completely. And now, I'm enrolling in the high school of my dreams. Oh my baby. My mom stopped me as I got ready to leave for high school, adjusting my tie. Mom, I have to go. It's my first day of high school. She just patted my shoulder and gave me a kiss on the forehead that sent me off. Finally, my first day of UA the High Hero course. When I got there, Toshinori had waited for me to show up. And smiled at me when I arrived. He was wearing this yellow suit that was just a bit too loose on his practically emaciated frame. Welcome, young Midoriya. He put his hand on my shoulders. To UA High, your hero academia. I smiled at him, excited. I'll do my best on the assessment test today, Toshinori. He sighed. You're gonna need to, because they gave you the toughest teacher in the school. I froze. Wait, what dash? A groups of teachers were discussing the test results. One spoke up. Check out the results of the exam. A second one spoke. Wow. The first place student didn't even have rescue points. A third nodded. He took down all those faux villains like an ace. When most of the other examinees were running from the big obstacle, he stayed focused on letting the other targets get close and the counterattacking. That kid is tough. The second teacher spoke up again. On the opposite end, the 7th place student had 0 villain points. He's not the first UA hopeful to take out that giant robot. The third said, though, it's been a while since I saw someone blow in away with one attack. A fourth teacher sighed. But at what cost? Did you see how he injured himself? If you ask me, his body can't handle that sort of power. The night after I opened my UA acceptance letter, Toshinori finally got in touch with me again. I had run to the beach quickly and found Toshinori sitting on the beach. I smiled widely. All Might, he jolted. Too loud, kid. A couple that was walking along the beach looked. All Might's here. No way. Where? The girl asked. Toshinori groaned. Way to blow my cover, kid. Thought I told you not to call me that. Say it was a mistake. I looked at the couple. I was just kidding. Nothing to see here. The man sighed. Lame. I wanted an autograph. The woman seemed disappointed. Me and Toshinori both sighed in relief. Toshinori then smiled at me and ruffled my hair. Good job getting in, kid. I smiled. I couldn't have done it without your help. The gauntlets helped a lot. Toshinori sighed. That's good. Although, I'll have to send a message to my friend who made them about how badly the kickback affected you. Although, we suspected it would happen. He paused for a moment. Also, young Midoriya. Would you mind not mentioning I've been training you? I'd rather not be seen as picking favorites, and I don't want anyone to thinking you got in just because of me. Oh, sure. But I was cut off. I really didn't have any part in making sure you got the points, kid. I wasn't one of the judges. And I didn't pull any strings for you. You hot in all on your own. I smiled. Thanks for telling me, it's good to know. I gasped. Oh yeah. I was really surprised to hear you were gonna be teaching at UA this year. I was wondering why? I mean, you live in Minato, Tokyo. Get a little creepy there, kid. I ducked my head and mumbled a sorry, before Toshinori continued. The school didn't want me telling anyone about the job until they made the official announcement, considering I haven't really been in the public eye for the past 5 years. And I've been restless being retired. I used to work basically 24/7, so having nothing to do's been difficult, to say the least. Especially given the doctors keep telling me to take it easy. I smiled at him. It makes sense. I fidgeted a bit. Toshinori. Do you regret training me instead of maybe someone stronger? I mean, all I did was jump and throw a punch and I got completely wrecked by the backlash. Toshinori sighed. Young Midoriya, I don't regret my decision. You're a wonderful young man, and I am glad to have you as my apprentice. You'll learn to manage in time. And I'm already talking to my friend about making it so you can easier limit the power released by your gauntlets. But asking you to master it right away is like asking a baby to run a marathon. You still have to go through the process of learning the basics. You're new. Yeah. I paused for a moment. Wait, you knew I would get hurt like that? Toshinori put up his hands. We were in a time crunch. Plus, it turned out fine, didn't it? Plus, now you know what you're dealing with. I groaned and he laughed a bit. Don't sweat it, kid. Listen, right now you're going either all or nothing. I never really had a problem with my gauntlets working that way, because I was a decent bit stronger at your age. But you'll learn to control it eventually. And we'll modify your gear to help you in time. I flexed my hands. So, I need control. Toshinori nodded. Right now, there's too much force at full power for you to handle. With training, your body will handle it better, then it'll be yours to use freely. But until then, you need to use moderation. He smiled at me and ruffled my hair. Young Midoriya, you are like a small spark right now. In time, you will grow. You will become a raging inferno. The more powerful you become, the more you will outshine my legacy. And eventually, you will replace me as the symbol of peace. I looked up at him, wide-eyed. Okay, Toshinori. Truthfully, my mentor's shoes felt too big to ever fill. But he believed in me. I was sitting at my middle school. My last day. Me and Kaken sat next to each other. The teacher talking to us. I can't believe we have not one, but two students from our school going to UA. He clapped his hands together. And to believe you're on of them, Midoriya. It's a miracle. Kaken had cornered me outside of school later, grabbing me by the shirt and shoving me into a wall. Crap. He huffed. What did you do to pass the exam? You had to have cheated. Kaken I stuttered, not sure what to say. He looked angry. I told you not to go. I was supposed to be the first and only student from this school to go to UA. Plus, you're gonna get yourself killed, you idiot. You can't compete with people with quirks, you'll be crushed. Kaken he pushed me into the wall again and I grunted. Kaken. Someone I look up to told me I can become a hero. That's why I applied. That's why I'm going. I got in on my own merit. I grabbed Kaken's wrist, gripping it tightly. He seemed a bit shocked. Huh. Like it or not, you can't stop me. Izuku, you're all set? My mom messed with my uniform and hair. I smiled. Yeah. Mom, I'm all set. It was the morning of my first day of UA. She kept fussing over me though as I put on my shoes. Are you sure? You didn't just lack action figures, right? I have everything, Mom. I reassured. Now I gotta go, I don't want to be late. I started to get going, but she stopped me. Izuku, she smiled at me, I just want you to know, I'm so proud of you, son. I smiled. I know, Mom. She teared up a bit and hugged me. Oh, my baby. Mom, I gotta go. I can't be late for school. She sighed, but adjusted my tie, gave me a little kiss on the forehead and let me pull away and leave. I'll see you soon. I ran to school, not wanting to be too late. Finally, my first day of the UA High Hero course. When I got there, Toshinori had waited for me to show up, and smiled at me when I arrived. He was wearing this yellow suit that was just a bit too loose on his practically emaciated frame. Welcome, young Midoriya. He put his hand on my shoulders. To UA High, your hero academia. I smiled at him, excited. I'll do my best on the assessment test today, Toshinori. He sighed. You're gonna need to, because they gave you the toughest teacher in the school. I froze. Wait, what dash? He just walked me to the front door, then sent me off with a small bit of encouragement. He's really not that bad, he just wants to make sure all his students will make fine heroes. You'll do fine. The acceptance rate that year was just as small as it had always been. 1 in 4 people got in because of recommendations, and 36 through regular exams. We were split into 2 classes of 20 students each. I looked down at my paper to check which class I was in. 1A. 1A. Where was it? I stood in front of the door. Wow. This thing is huge. Are there giants here? The most promising students in the country are waiting behind this door. I paced a bit. Maybe we're in different classes. Maybe everyone in here is nice. I walked in. Take your feet off of that desk now. Glasses guy? It's the first day and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin. A huff. You're kidding me, right? Bakugo. Your old school put a stick up your butt, or were you born with it? Just my luck. Bakugo, who thinks I'm weak, and the glasses kid who berated me in the entrance exam. The glasses kid sighed and pushed up his glasses. Let's start over. He extended a hand to Bakugo. I'm Tenya Ida from the semi-private academy. Bakugo scoffed. Semi-huh? So you must think you're better than me. I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one. Ida gasped. You would threaten me? Your own classmate? Are you sure you're in the right place? Bakugo huffed. Oh, shut it, for eyes. You can stick it up your dash. He stopped noticing me. Several of the other students also looked at me and murmured amongst themselves. Oh. Lovely. They're looking at me. Hi. I gave a little wave. Ida turned his attention to me. Good morning. He walked over and went to shake my hand. My name is Tenya Ida from Dash. I gave him a small smile. Yeah. I know. He shook my hand. He had a very firm grip. I'm Izuku Midoriya. It's super nice to meet you. He nodded. Midoriya, you realized there was something more to the practical exam, didn't you? Huh. I was a bit surprised and lost. You must be very perceptive. He let go of my hand. And I completely misjudged you, I must admit. As a student you're far superior to me. I rubbed the back of my neck. I find that hard to believe. A voice came from behind me. I recognized that curly hair Dash. I turned to look at her, she was smiling. Falling boy. I gasped. It was that girl from the exam. Who saved me. That punch was amazing. She was energetic, smiling. I sighed. Yeah, so I should probably be thanking you. For going in and talking to him. She paused. How'd you know about that? I stuttered. Oh, Dash. What do you think we're doing today besides orientation? Someone cut off, some blonde kid with a lighting stripe in his hair. Another kid, with red spiky hair, continue on it. Yeah, I wonder what her teachers are like too. This invisible girl seemed excited. I can't wait to meet everyone. A voice in the doorway made everyone go quiet. If you're just here to make friends, then you can pack up your stuff now. I practically jumped, and everyone seemed generally startled. There was some homeless-looking guy in a sleeping bag laying in the doorway. Welcome to UA's hero course. A few people gasped and several asked what it was. The guy unzipped his sleeping bag and slowly got out. He had long, black hair, stubble. Was wearing a fully black bodysuit, boots, and a scarf. It took 8 seconds before you all shut up. That's not gonna work, time is precious. He picked up his sleeping bag and walked into the room, closing the door behind him. Rational students would understand that. He got out some sort of pouch and started drinking it. Who is this guy? If he's here, he must be some sort of pro hero. But he looks so worn out. What's his deal? He sighed. Hello, I'm Shota Aizawa. Your teacher. The whole class gasped. Our teacher? Right. Let's get to it. Aizawa-sensei sighed. He pulled a stack of uniforms out of his sleeping bag. Put these on and head outside. Huh. Everyone said almost simultaneously. I remember something Toshinori said as I got ready. UA's course doesn't follow the normal academic path. Get the wrong homeroom teacher and life is hell. Once outside, he told us what we were doing. What? One of my classmates exclaimed. A quirk assessment test. But we'll miss orientation. Aizawa-sensei sighed and rolled his eyes. If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Several students gasped. Here at U, we're not Tetheretto traditions Dash. For whatever reason, he gave me a glance. That means I get to run my class however I see fit. He gave it a small moment to sink in. You've been taking standardized tests most of your lives. But you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. The country's still trying to pretend we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power and skill excel. It's not rational. One day, the Ministry of Education will learn. He looked at Bakugo. Bakugo, you managed to get the most points in the entrance exam. What was the farthest distance you threw a softball when you were in junior high? Kaken stuffed his hand in his pockets. 67 meters, I think. Aizawa-sensei tossed him a softball. Right. Try doing it with your quirk. Anything goes, just stay in the circle. Bakugo went to the circle, getting ready to throw the ball. Someone huffed. Go on, man, throw the ball. Bakugo growled. You asked for it. He drew his arm back, then threw the ball and used her explosion. Die. Several people gasped in response to how far the ball went. Aizawa-sensei looked at a screen of some sort. All of you need to know your maximum capabilities. This is the most rational way of figuring out your potential to become a pro hero. He showed us the screen saying how far Kaken threw the ball. Several people gasped again. Whoa, 705 meters, are you kidding me? I want to go. That looks fun. This is what I'm talking about. Using our quirks as much as we want. So this looks fun, huh? Aizawa-sensei said. You have 3 years to become pro heroes. You think it's all gonna be fun and games? Idiots. Today you'll compete in 8 physical tests to gauge your potential. Whoever comes in last has none and will be expelled immediately. I froze. Several of the other students gasped in shock, and everything was quickly much more serious. Crap. I was getting expelled for sure. Aizawa shrugged. Like I said, I get to run my class however I want, understand? If that's a problem, you can go home. A huge test on the first day of school? What am I going to do? Several of my classmates were verbally protesting it. You can't send one of us home. I mean, we just got here. Even if it wasn't the first day of school, it's not fair. Aizawa-sensei spoke. And you think natural disasters are? His voice lacking any sort of care. Or power-hungry villains. HM? Or catastrophic events that wipe out whole cities. No, the world is full of unfairness. It's a hero's job to try and combat that unfairness. If you want to be a pro, you're gonna have to push yourself to the brink. For the next 3 years, UA will throw one terrible hardship after another at you. So, go beyond, plus ultra style. He glanced around. It felt like his eyes stuck on me for too long. Show me it's not a mistake that you're here. He gave us a moment to settle, then continued. Now then, we're just wasting time by talking. He gave a mildly unnerving smile. Let the games begin. First was the 50-meter run. Tenya got a time of 3.04 seconds. His quirk? Engine. He can run pretty fast, so the running test was definitely his element. Her quirk was zero gravity. She can nullify the gravitational pull on anything she touches. But if she uses He power too much, it makes her nauseous. She had used it to lighten up her clothes and shoes for her run. She got 7.15 seconds. The French boy from the exam, Aoyama as his name turned out to be, had the quirk naval laser. Which is exactly what it sounds. His quirk also made him nauseous if overused. He got a time of 5.51 seconds. Kakin got a time of 4.13 seconds, then boasted about having the most useful quirk. I got 7.02 seconds. Couldn't use the gear Toshinori gave me, I didn't know how to control it yet. Everyone used their quirks on the tests, but me? I don't have one. And the gear Toshinori had made for me. I couldn't handle the kickback yet, or control the power from it I used. Several tests went by quickly. I almost always got one of the lowest scores. I wasn't weak, really. I had trained a lot. But I couldn't compare to the others using their quirks. Not yet. Ochako managed to throw a ball infinitely basically. My turn was coming up, I was one of the lowest so far on the test. Crap. I needed to come up with a game plan, everyone else has had some sort of crazy good score already. I was gonna fail, then I'd get kicked out of UA. All that was left for me to do was the softball throw, the distance run, sit-ups, and the seated toe touch. It was now or never. Ida sighed. If Midoriya doesn't shape up soon he'll be the one going home. Bakugo's ears pricked at that. What? Of course he is, he's a quirkless loser. Ida's eyebrows creased. He has a quirk. He looked at Bakugo. Did you not hear about what he did in the entrance exam? Bakugo paused for a moment. Huh. Aizawa watched me closely. Here it comes. Izuku, I'm really proud of your son. Young man, you too can become a hero. I won't let them down. I've only got one shot at nailing this. I have to work way harder than everyone else here if I want to succeed. Even if I have a lot to learn, I'll focus on what I can do right now. I got ready to throw the ball, focusing in controlling my gauntlet. If I try to focus the backlash of the force on one area instead of my whole arm, one of my fingers, it should allow me to keep going after this. I threw the ball, releasing the air pressure from the gauntlets at just the right point. I used less force than usual, but as far as I could tell I only damaged my finger. I turned to look at Aizawa-sensei. He had these yellow goggles on. His hair was floating. Wait, I know who he is. To raise her head. He spoke. You. He said a bit sharply. You really don't have a quirk. Even if I have a lot to learn, I'll focus on what I can do right now. I got ready to throw the ball, focusing in controlling my gauntlet. If I try to focus the backlash of the force on one area instead of my whole arm, one of my fingers, it should allow me to keep going after this. I threw the ball, releasing the air pressure from the gauntlets at just the right point. I used less force than usual, but as far as I could tell I only damaged my finger. I turned to look at Aizawa-sensei. He had these yellow goggles on. His hair was floating. Wait, I know who he is. Eraserhead. He spoke. You. He said a bit sharply. You really don't have a quirk. I froze, stuck in place. My classmates seemed surprised. Wait, what? He doesn't have a quirk? But what he did just now. The giant robot he destroyed during the entrance exam. Kaken huffed. See, he's just a quirkless loser. He's gonna flunk out or die trying to pass. Teach, go ahead and kick him out now. Aizawa shushed him. He doesn't have a quirk. If he did, I would have been able to erase it before he broke his finger and threw the ball. He's using support items to mimic one. Aizawa glared at me for a moment, and then glanced down to check my score. It's over 700 meters. The class went hush for a moment, and then burst out in shock talking. The blonde kid from earlier, Kaminari. What? Really? He threw it that far without a quirk even? Ida spoke. Yes, but it seems he broke his finger doing it. Just like in the exam. Kaken seemed disgruntled with everyone seeming amazed instead of demanding I be kicked out. He turned his attention to me. Hey, Deku. He went over and grabbed me by the collar of the shirt. Who the hell's giving you that gear? I know you couldn't get it on your own. Aizawa's scarf grabbed him, pulling him off me. His quirk activating again. Kaken struggled. What the hell? Why is your scarf so strong? Aizawa huffed. Because it's a capture weapon, made out of carbon fiber and a special alloy. He glared at Kaken. Stand down. He put Kaken down, and the teen's pride seemed seriously bruised. Aizawa-sensei took his goggles off, and put some eye drops in his eyes. I would suggest not making me use my quirk often. It gives me serious dry eye. I looked at him. Shota Aizawa, Eraserhead. Quirk is erasure. He can erase the quirk of anyone he looks at. The effect ends when he blinks. You're wasting my time now. He grumbled. Whoever's next can step up. I stepped back into the group of students. Uraraka came to check on me. Oh my gosh, is your finger okay? It looks like it hurts. I smiled at her, clutching my hand. Sure, I'm fine. After that, I had to fight through the pain as I finished the rest of the physical fitness test. All right, it's time to look at the results, Aizawa-sensei said, after we finished the test. I've ranked you all from best to worst. You should probably have a good idea of your standing already. I'll just pull up the whole list. It's not worth going over each individual score. The person ranked last is gonna get expelled, and the only test I was any good at was the softball throw. Can I squeak by on that score alone? I bombed the rest of the challenges. The results were put up on a big screen. My heart immediately dropped. I'm in last place. I failed. Aizawa-sensei gave that creepy smile again. And I while lying. Nobody's going home. It was all just a rational deception to make sure you gave it your all in the tests. Most everyone seemed completely and utterly received, including me. Well, aside from Ida, who seemed surprised at everyone else's reaction. I'm surprised the rest of you didn't figure that out. He said. I'm sorry. I guess I probably should have said something. Yeah, you should have, Jiro said. That was pretty nerve-wracking. Kaminari put his hands behind his head. Nah, I'm always down for a challenge. Aizawa-sensei sighed. That's it. We're done for the day. Pick up a syllabus in the classroom. Read it over before tomorrow morning. Aizawa stopped me when the others left, and gave me this debating look for a moment. Midoriya. He handed me a syllabus. Take this, go have Recovery Girl fix you up instead of going back to class. Things are going to be tougher tomorrow. He paused for a moment. You especially need to be prepared. It's not the same or as difficult, but I fight Quirkless too. And I know, you'll have to work harder than the rest of them combined. Probably already have. I stared at him for a moment, then he sighed. Now, go and visit Recovery Girl. I did what he told me and walked to the nurse's office. I managed to make it through my first day, but there's so much I completely failed at. I'm starting out at the bottom. I've still got a lot to learn if I'm going to achieve my dream. Aizawa. That was a rotten move. Toshinori confronted Aizawa after Midoriya had left. Aizawa huffed. So you were watching? Toshinori nodded. A rational deception, really? As if you've ever been known for going easy on your students. I read your file. Last year you expelled a whole class of hero students. Anyone you deem unworthy gets expelled, so. That means you see the same potential in young Midoriya as I do. Aizawa crossed his arms. It sounds like you've been in his corner this whole time. Are you picking favorites already, Toshinori? Because it's a bit odd considering you haven't even taught a class yet. Toshinori was caught a bit off guard. A dash. Aizawa sighed. I'll admit he's not completely hopeless. If he was, I would have sent him right home. It's not right to let a kid who doesn't have a chance keep dreaming about things that'll never happen. They just get killed that way. Toshinori smiled at him. You're a kind man in your own way, Aizawa. I know that. I hog on to Recovery Girl, as Aizawa-sensei told me. My finger healed. She said her quirk just accelerates healing, so it drains your energy. I groaned, I'm so tired. I gasped when I saw Ida by the exit of the school. Ida. Hey there. He turned to look at me. Oh, Midoriya. How's the broken finger doing? I gave a nervous smile. Oh, it's doing fine. Recovery Girl fixed me up. He smiled. That's good. He paused for a moment. I was a bit concerned by Aizawa-sensei's approach to class, but you ridsug the school's judgment. Still, lying like that is downright immoral. I sighed. I thought he was scary, but that's not it. He's just really serious about making sure we become the best heroes we can be. Uraraka ran up, waving us down. Hey, wait up you two. We stopped and waited for her, smiled. Are you going to the station? I'll join you guys. I smiled at her. Oh, you're the Infinity Girl, right? Ochako Uraraka? She nodded. Yeah, and you're Tenya Ida. And Deku? Midoriya, right? Deku. She looked a bit worried and tilted her head. Yeah, isn't that one Bakugo Kaiyu? Ida nodded. Yes, and he seemed to know you. I messed with my hair. Oh, my name's actually Izuku. Deku's what Kaken calls me to make fun of me. Ida frowned. That's unsportsmanlike. Uraraka gasped. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. She paused for a moment. But you know what? I like that. It would make a great hero name. I paused for a moment. Oh, I smiled. Deku it so then. Ida raised an eyebrow. Just like that? But didn't you say it was an insult? I laughed. Paradigm shift. My whole world is upside down. I threw my arms up. I survived my first day at UA. A few months ago I didn't even think I'd make it this far. Uraraka paused for a moment. Oh, because you're quirkless, right? I paused for a moment. Yeah. They know. Yeah. Ida sighed. It must be so different being quirkless. How did you even get into UA? And all those attacks we've seen you use? I pulled up my sleeve. I have these gauntlets, they utilize air pressure. I ended up talking the rest of the way to the train station. And they listened. Me and Toshinori met up after school at the beach. He brought me snacks. I survived my first day of UA, even if I kind of failed. I said, between mouthfuls of the food Toshinori had brought. He had a smaller potion for himself. But, why kmo what Toshinori, I'm making new friends. That's gotta be good, right? Toshinori smiled. That's great, young Midoriya. And you didn't really fail. You've made progress in controlling the power from your gear. And Aizawa is a tough teacher. I sighed, slouching. Yeah, but I got the worst score in the test. And Aizawa-sensei said it'd be even hard tomorrow. Toshinori ruffled my hair. You'll do just fine, young Midoriya. You'll just have to keep working hard to catch up with your peers. Remember, you started out at a setback. Just the progress you have made. At the rate you've made it is amazing. I stood his hand away, not very seriously though. Toshinori, stop it dash. UA's Hero Course Curriculum. There are normal for classes in the morning, like English. Taught by Present Mike. We eat lunch in the main cafeteria, where we can buy pretty tastes stuff on the cheap. Lunch rush makes the best food. And then, in the afternoon, it's finally time. Hero Basic Training. I am here. I gasped. All Might. The other students looked kinda weirded out. Dude, are you blind or something? Kaminari said. That's a dying old guy. Toshinori went a little red in the face. No. Young Midoriya is right. Everyone seemed a bit shocked. Mina stood up. Wait, for real? How'd you get so skinny? Kirishima looked worried. Yeah, nobody's seen you in years. Bakugo huffed. Shut up, you idiots, it's obviously not All Might. He stood up. All Might would never be this scrawny and pathetic. An argument broke out, and I gave Toshinori a sort of, how do we make them stop? Look. Toshinori inhaled. Children, calm yourselves. Everyone stopped. That big, boom-in voice couldn't be mistaken for anyone but All Might. Although, he very soon after went into a coughing fit, grabbing the desk and leaning over. Mouth in his elbow. Everyone was mostly shocked into staying quiet. After a moment, he stood back upright and sighed. The reason I stopped being a hero 5 years ago, and that I look like this now, is that I got into a huge fight with a villain. I was badly injured, I lost my stomach and most of my respiratory system. Between the surgeries and it being more difficult to digest food, I lost a significant portion of my muscle mass. Everyone remained quiet. Toshinori was awkwardly silent for a moment. Since I'm retired, it's not really correct to call me All Might anymore. So please, simply refer to me by my name. Toshinori Yagi. Several of my classmates spoke at that. What? You're always gonna be All Might. Yeah, you were the coolest. He gave a small smile, still holding onto the desk. Thank you, children. But please, I'm your teacher. It's just Mr. Yagi now. He sat down. I'm pretty sure he's the only teacher I've seen so far with a low desk and a chair. Welcome to the most important class at UA High. Think of it as heroics. Here you will learn the basics of being a pro, what it means to fight in the name of the people. He sighed. Let's get to it. Today's lesson will be battle training. A couple of the students murmured excitedly about getting to take part in actual combat. Toshinori got a remote of sorts out of his desk. However, first, one of the most important parts of being a pro hero is your costume. He pressed a button on it, and several boxes came out of the wall. These were designed for you based off your quirk registration forms and requests turned in before school started. Several of the students gasped. Costumes? Toshinori stood up. Get yourselves suited up, then meet me at Training Ground Beta. Yes, sir. Most of the class said in unison. While we're getting our costume on, one of the other guys in my class, Kirishima, asked me a question. Hey, Midoriya, how come you knew it was All Might? He looks so different. Ida nodded. I was wondering that myself, actually. He's nearly unrecognizable. I paused for a moment and looked away. Well, Waikmo. I'm just such a big fan I guess ni recognized him. It wasn't a total lie. That's how I'd known when I first met him. I used to try and imitate his facial expressions as a kid. Kirishima shrugged. Guess that makes sense. Ida nodded. Still, it's impressive you got it so quickly. Bakugo huffed. Oh please, the nerd just guessed lucky. The clothing allowance. Before we enrolled at UA High, we submitted quirk registration forms, which included physical measurements and any desired costume designs to an exclusive clothing company designated by the school. With all that info, they created state-of-the-art costumes for us. However, Izuku, I'm home. Iha hung up the phone quickly, accidentally hung up on Toshinori. I turned and looked at her. Hey, Mom. She smiled. Oh great, you're here. She grabbed something out of her bag. Congratulations. I'm so proud you got into you. She had made me a costume. She laughed as I looked it over. I may have gotten a little ahead of myself. I brought you food the other day but you dozed off, and I saw the notes you'd made about your costume ideas. Seriously? I didn't look up from the costume. It was really close to what I'd been imagining, not perfect. But my mom was working within a budget. It was fantastic all things considered. She smiled. To be honest with you, I've been feeling really terrible lately. I looked up at her, surprised and a little worried. She sighed, about something I said to you. I think you might have felt I had given up on you a while back. She tears up a little. But now look at you, you persevered, kept chasing your dream like a real champion. She gave me a hug. I'm sorry, Izuku. And I promise, I'll support you with everything I've got from now on. It was a gift from my mom, so of course it's what I'm gonna wear. It's not state-of-the-art or flashy, but it means something to me. It's my hero costume. Hey Deku. Uraraka walked up to me in the training area. Uraraka. I smiled at her. I love your costume. Not too flashy, you know? She seemed a tad bit embarrassed. I wasn't really specific enough with what I wanted. This bodysuit is skin-tight, not really my style. I messed with my hair a bit. I mean, you could probably have it altered if you wanted. Tashinori spoke up, getting everyone's attention now that we were all here. They say the clothes make the pros, and young students, you all are the proof. Take this to heart, all of you. From now on, you are heroes in training. The class got excited at that. Tashinori smiled. Now, shall we get started? Everyone pretty quickly said yes. A buzz of excitement amongst the class already. Tashinori nodded. Since you're all ready, it's time for combat training. Sir, it was Ida's voice. Guess it was him under that suit of armor. He looks so cool. This is the fake city from our entrance exam. Do that mean we'll be conducting urban battles again? Tashinori shook his head. Not quiet, young Ida. I'm going to move you 2 steps ahead. Most of the villain fights you see on the news take place outside. However, statistically speaking, run-ins widow worst villains take place indoors. Tashinori paused for a moment. Think about it. Backroom deals, home invasions, secret underground lairs. Truly intelligent criminals stay hidden in the shadows. For this training exercise he pulled out a box. You'll be split into teams of good guys and bad guys and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles. Kaminari spoke up. Isn't this a little, I dunno, advanced? The best training is what you get on the battlefield. Tashinori said. But remember, you can't just punch a robot this time. You're dealing with actual people this time. Sir, will you be deciding who wins? Yaoyorozu asked. How much can we hurt the other team? Bakugo spoke up, sounding like he probably wanted to cause some damage. Hagakure raised her hand. Do we need to worry about the losers getting expelled like yesterday? Tenya spoke again. Will you be splitting us up based on chance or comparative skill? Aoyama held up the edge of his cape. Isn't this cape chic? Almost completely unrelated. Tashinori raised his voice a bit. I wasn't finished talking. Listen up. A script? Tashinori cleared his throat. The situation is this: the villains have hidden a nuclear missile somewhere in their hideout. The heroes must try to foil their plans. To do that, the good guys must either catch all the villains or recover the weapon. Likewise, the villains succeed if they protect their payload or capture the heroes. Sound like an action movie setup. Time is limited. Tashinori grabbed the box again. And we'll choose teams by drawing lots. Ida raised an eyebrow. Isn't there a better way to do this? Think about it. Yaoyorozu said. Pros often team up with heroes from other agencies on the spot, so maybe that's the reason we're seeing it here. Ida paused for a moment. Yes, I see. Life is a random series of events. Excuse my rudeness. Tashinori sighed. No sweat, kid. Now let's draw. I got paired with Ochako. She smiled. Deku, what are the chances we're a team? After the drawing for teams was over, Tashinori did a random draw for who was up first as well. So, the first teams will be. There was a moment of silence, anticipation. Team A as the heroes, and Team D as the villains. Everyone else can head to the monitoring room to watch. Team A, that was me and Ochako. Team D was Ida and Kaken. Crap. I was so gonna die. Villains, you can go on in and set up. In 5 minutes, the heroes guys will be let loose and the battle will start. Yes, sir. Ida and Ochako both said in response, practically in unison. Toshinori spoke to Ida and Bakugo for a moment. Now, young Ida. Young Bakugo. The key to being successful in this challenge is to embody villainy. Think from the perspective of a criminal. Tenya nodded. Got it. Toshinori nodded in response and addressed the 4 of us as a whole. If things go too far, I'll step in. Bakugo and Ida walk up through the building. Ida sighed. Even though this is training, it pains me to be aligned with criminal behavior. As they walked up the stairs, he laid eye on the bomb. So, this must be the Wellens we have to protect. He tapped it. Fake, of course. Hey! Bakugo yelled, to get his attention. Ida looked over. Do you really think Deku should be here? Ida blinked. You saw how he threw that ball. And he passed the entrance exam just like the rest of us. Bakugo huffed and crossed his arms. Yeah, sure, but he's quirkless. Ida Vrasedny's own arms in response. And there is no longer a rule against quirkless students enrolling in the UA Hero course. Yeah, but Bakugo sighed. He's weaker than the rest of us. Who have quirks. He's gonna get crushed inevitably. If it isn't in school, it'll be in the field. These teachers really can't think just letting him keep going when it'll inevitably kill him is a good idea. Ida paused for a moment. I think you underestimate him, Bakugo. Bakugo scoffed. I've known him my whole life. We're practically related. I know what he's capable of. And being a hero isn't it? Me and Ochako waited outside the building. You think they expect us to memorize this whole floor plan? It's so big. You know. She spoke to me, looking at the map we'd been given. All Might, or I guess Yagi-sensei, he's not really like he was on TV when I was a kid. He's still pretty cool though. He looks kinda scary, but at least he's not threatening us with some punishment like Aizawa-sensei. We can relax. She looked at me and jolted. You're sweating through your costume. I was honestly nearly shaking. It's just, you know. We're going up against Ida. And Kaken. I tried to rationalize, fidgeting. We should keep on our guard. Who knows what they'll pull? She paused. Oh, right, Bakugo. He's the one that's always making fun of you, right? And he's amazing. I sighed. He can be a real pain, sure. But his strength and confidence and his ambition. Not to mention his quirk. He's so much better than me. I paused for a moment, and Uraraka tried to say something but I continued speaking. I guess that just means I'll have to try harder. I refuse to lose today. She sat down beside me. So, this battle's kind of faded up. I froze up. Oh, not that I'm trying to get you wrapped up in my fight or anything. She smiled. Are you kidding? We're a team, right? And more importantly, friends. So, your fight, I my fight. She gave me a light punch on the shoulder. I flinched a bit anyways. Let's win this, yeah, Deku? Tajinori's voice came over the speakers. Alright kids. Let's begin the indoor combat training. Team A, Team D. Your time starts. Now. Up in the observation room, Toshinori was watching with the rest of the class. And having a small snack. Pay attention, kids. Think about what you would do. Careful, there are a lot of blind spots. I said to Uraraka as we entered the building. I still have very little control over my gear. I can't handle the force from using it. So I can't risk it. If I did, I'd also probably end up killing someone. We'll just have to win with zero gravity, and whatever I can do without my gear. I've got to use my head. I took a lot of note on indoor battles and fighting in tight spaces. I can do this. A blast rang through the hall. I dodged, then turned to check on Uraraka. Uraraka, are you okay? She nodded. Yeah, I'm fine, Deku. But Deku. It was Bakugo. in case the blast hadn't made it obvious earlier. What's the matter? Afraid to stand up and fight me? He was crackling little explosions in his palms. It was something he did often, actually. When he'd gotten himself all hype up. I knew he'd come after me first, and figured he'd try to catch me by surprise too. Bakugo can at me. But, already knew what he'd do. I grabbed his arm when he moved it out to hit me and flipped him. I smiled at him, the adrenaline starting to get going. Kaken, you always use a big right book to start a fight. I know, I've been watching you for years. Huh. He came at me again, I dodged. He's really kind of predictable once you get to know him. I analyzed every amazing hero, even you. I landed a hit. I wanted to learn everything I could about them. It was all in that notebook you burned and threw away. He practically growled, starting to actually get angry. You can call me Deku, but I'm not the same helpless, defenseless kid anymore. You hear me, I've changed. I got out the thing I'd been given to use to capture him. From now on, Deku is the name of a hero. You can call me Deku, but I'm not the same helpless, defenseless kid anymore. You hear me, I've changed. I got out the thing I'd been given to use to capture him. From now on, Deku is the name of a hero. Kaken and I grew up together. Our moms had met in high school, we lived in the same neighborhood our whole lives. I can't remember not knowing him. Come on. Let's fight bad guys. Kaken said that often. When he did, we'd all join in on his game, trail after him. It seemed like he could do anything. And no matter what he decided to do, he was always so confident. I thought he was the coolest person I'd ever met. However, after his quirk manifested, he started to change. Maybe it was because his did and mine didn't. Maybe it was because everyone praised him for it all the time. Maybe it was just the part of it. Honestly, it could be a combination of all three. But no matter the case, he wasn't the same anymore. We weren't the same anymore. You're shaking in your boots, you're scared. Kaken was standing opposite to me, in the hall of the building where the mock battle was taking place. But you want to fight anyways. That's why I hate you, Deku. You're so stupid, trying to fight people strings than you, do things you already know you can't. In the observation room, Toshinori and the rest of the class were still watching the battle. Bakugo had started talking to Ida over a comm system. Kirishima timed his head. Hey, who's Bakugo talking to? I'm not hearing anything. Toshinori spoke up. He's got a radio in his ear so he can talk to his partner. I have it to him before each match started, on with a map of the building. And this dash, he held up what looked vaguely like a roll of tape. Capture tape, wrapping it around your opponent means you've apprehended them and they're out for the rest of the game. Ashido spoke. So, there's a 15-minute tome limit, and heroes have no idea what floor the weapon is on, right? Toshinori nodded. Correct, Ashido. Ashido tilted his head. Then, the heroes are clearly at a huge disadvantage here. A big one. Toshinori confirmed. That's real life. Pro heroes have to outwit villains on a daily basis. Even when the odds aren't in our favor, we fight. Monsieur. Aoyama pointed at the screen. He's on the move. Toshinori turned his attention back to the screen. Bakugo had gone in to attack again, Deku dodging. Uraraka. Go! I yelled to her, and she ran to go find Ida and the weapon. Kaken stayed focused on me. Ballsy move. Think you can take me alone? He came at me again. If you don't wound up, I guess I'll just have to crush you, Deku. I was thinking. Planning. Not letting him rile me up. Kaken works better in a fight when his opponent is also angry. The capture tape, it was somewhat similar to Aizawa-sensei's scarf. I got to see him use it the other day. And knowing Kaken, he'll get impatient and go in for another big punch. As predicted, I was right. He's holding his own, and he hasn't even used his quirk yet. Shiro pointed out. Toshinori nodded. It wasn't surprising. He's always been pretty good at taking action in crisis situations. And he's been taking note on different heroes. For years. He internalized everything he learned. These lessons are in his blood now. That fanboy knowledge was paying off and driving him forward. Kaken took a kick at me this time. He's switching things up so I can't predict his moves. Does that mean he's worried? Get back here, Deku. He chased and attacked as I evaded him. I'm not gonna be able to fight him at close range right now. I need some kind of plan. Damn it. Kakin huffed. You shouldn't be in the hero course, Deku. A punch. You're quirkless, you can't be a hero. You started off below everyone else, even the ones with worthless quirks. I caught his hand, holding him back. He practically growled. You're weak. First real villain that actually gets at you and you'll be dead. He wasn't using his quirk on me. Was he? Holding himself back? He pushed him back, kicking him. I can fight, Kakin. I'm stronger now, I can hold my own. Fine then. He huffed. His quirk crackled. Let's see how you handle a fight against someone with a quirk. Kaminari frowned, looking at the screen. That guy has some real anger issues. Kirishima sighed. Kinda scary. Toshinori watched closely. Midoriya had told him that Bakugo thinks very highly of himself. But no, I think there's something else to young Bakugo's aggression. Some part of him seems almost rude. I ran through the halls from Kakin. He kept chasing. Good, he completely forgot about Uraraka. Just like I thought. His attention is solely on me. If they wanted to send someone out to stop us, it would have been Ida. He's faster. That probably means Kakin's gone rouge. They aren't communicating and working together as a team. If we had to take this 2-on head-to-head, our chances would be pretty low. They've got string quirks. I can't go after the weapon right now, or Kakin will follow me. And if Weboth tried to talk him down, we'd probably run out of time. So we stay split up for now. I have to trust Uraraka. She'll find the weapon and Ida, and then I'll join her for a 2-on-1 fight. That's how we'll win. I'll just have to capture Kakin down here. On my own. I can do it. As long as I don't get too close to his hands. Stop hiding. Kakin yelled, letting off another blast. Come out and face me. Show me you can do what you say. By the way, Kakin. I've been meaning to tell you dash, I said, still evading him. You're even worse than the rest of these rejects. You really think they'd let someone like you in? I'm not trying to compete with you, honest Kakin. I take back everything I said. About not wanting to compete with you. I turned to face him. I'll be even stronger than you, without a quirk. I remember when I was a kid. How it started. When he got his quirk. Everyone had praised him. I had smiled. And rather excited-ly exclaimed, Your quirk is amazing, Kakin. I hope when I get mine, it'll be just as cool. He hadn't quite become so. Then ruffled my hair. Whatever you get, you're still gonna be littler than me, Izuku. I'm always gonna be strings than you. No mean nicknames then. But I think the gap was already starting to form. Even then. And then when it was found out I wasn't going to get a quirk. Muturinks. Hey, did you hear? Izuku doesn't have a quirk. Like, none. What? Really? How? It's called being quirkless. That's dumb. Maybe he's broken. What a loser. He's so lame. And Kakin. He started talking that way too. He started calling me Deku. Oh. I'd been trying to copy a trick with a ball Kakin had done, and dropped it on my head by accident. Wow, Izuku. He huffed. You really can't do anything, stop trying. He had picked up one of my toys, had me name on it. Pointed at the last part. You can read the last part of your name as Deku. One of the other kids that hung around him seemed a bit amazed. Wow, you can read that? He'd see me proud. Well, obviously. He snickered at me. Deku, that's what you call a helpless hero wannabe. And then when we were making little boats to float in the stream. Oh, that has to be a new record. One of the other boys had praised him. He had smirked. I bet it is. Wow. You're so cool, Katsuki. He'd looked at me. Hey, where's yours? I fidgeted a bit, looked at the ground. It sank. The other boys laughed. I can never remember whether Kakin did or not. He huffed. Deku, why can't you do anything right? He hadn't quite kicked me out of games yet, then. Forward march, and here we go, member of the agency Bakugo. He had us following him. It was this game we played, pretending he was a pro hero and we were his sidekicks. Sound oh dash, he'd fallen into the stream. Kaken! I had been startled and gone down to help him. It was my first reaction. Are you alright? Are you hurt? He had smacked my hand away. I was just fine on my own. I don't need help. I had fidgeted, tearing up a little. I was worried you might have ate your head or something dash. One of the boys called down to him. Katsuki, hurry up and get back up here. He had gone. Left me behind. I wasn't invited to play games anymore. Nobody, not even Kaken, wanted to be around me anymore. Uraraka was running through the building and finally found the weapon. Found it, she whisper-yelled to herself. Now I just have to tell Deku and try my best to stay hidden until he gets here. She gasped and ducked out PD the way when she saw Tenya. He was making round of the room, talking to himself some. Bakugo definitely has a villainous side. And that's exactly what we need to complete the mission. He nodded to himself. I need to temporarily devote myself to the criminal mindset. He paced a bit. Yes, I won't fail this trial and risk bringing shame down upon the Ida family name. That means I must now embrace evil, to become a hero. He gave a sort of mock villainous cackle. Like a cartoon. Behold, I am the personification of villainy. She couldn't help but laughing, really. He stopped. Uraraka? Is that you? Crap. I knew you would come here the instant that Bakugo ran off to engage with Midoriya. He took stance. Your quirk allows you to float anything you touch, but I prepared for that. By hiding every object in the room so you have nothing to use. He called again. My dastardly tricks have rendered you helpless. You've blundered, hero. Wow, he really does take this serious. While Ida monologued, she talked to Izuku. Deku? She said over the communication device. I'm here, how's it going? I sighed. Ida knows that I'm here. Sorry. He's monologuing right now. Where are you right now? I glanced around briefly. Near the middle of the 5th floor. I was still fighting Kaken, or more so, dodging blows from his punches, kicks and quirk. Uraraka, Ida and the weapon were right above me. We probably don't have much to me left now. We have to finish fast or they win. I won't give up yet, I can capture Kaken. I won't lose. Kaken smirked. I'm all loaded up. What does that mean dash? Kaken huffed. Why don't you use that fancy gear, Deku? Don't tell me you're underestimating me now. He came at me. Show me what you've got. Or do you want to admit that you're still weaker than me? I have no choice. I have to face him. Right now. Kaken, I'm not scared of you anymore. I yelled, determination setting in. Heh. Kaken smirked. Since you know so much, Deku, you probably know how my quirk explosion works by now. He grabbed a pin on his gauntlets. I secrete nitroglycerin-like sweat from the palms of my hands and make it blow up. Imagine what I could do if I had a lot of it. Oh no. Don't tell me. He got this slightly manic look. That's right. These gauntlets aren't just for show. They've been storing up my sweat inside for one monster blast. Toshinori got up out of his seat, shocked. Startled. He's gone too far dash. He immediately jumped on Bakugo's comm channel. Young Bakugo. Don't do it, you'll kill him. Kaken huffed. Not as long as he dodges. Izuku yelped. The whole building shook. As Bakugo released a huge blast aimed right at him. Several students in the observation room gasped in shock and surprise. It was too dusty to see anything over the cameras. Toshinori panicked and tried to contact Midoriya on the communication devices. Come in, young Midoriya. He nearly collapsed from relief when he heard Izuku groan. Kaken was smirking wildly, all hyped up, having just fired off a monster of a blast. These are awesome. The more nitro sweat that's stored in these gauntlets, the stronger the explosion is. He laughed. Go ahead, Deku. Use your stupid gear on me. Even if you give me everything you've got, you'll never beat me. Upstairs, Ida was frantically trying to contact Bakugo. Bakugo, answer me. What's going on down there? Was distracted. Did you cause that blast? Now's my chance, Uraraka thought. If I can claim the weapon, that means we win. She made a run for the weapon, outreaching a hand. Ida snapped back to focus and ran to block her. Not so fast, hero. She made herself float and Ida went wide-eyed. She dropped herself, down towards the weapon, but Ida was too fast. Grabbed it and ran with it. Admirable attempt, but your quirk's no threat if you can't touch anything. I can easily keep this weapon out of reach until time runs out. And more ridiculous, evil, cackling. Kaken smirked and started to approach me. What's the matter? You look scared. His boots crunched on some broken glass from a window. You dodged the attack so you can still fight, can't you? Come and get me. The gauntlets make it so he can use his powers at long range. I'm not safe even if I stay away from him. So what do? I tapped the button to contact Uraraka. Come in, what's the situation? She responded quickly. Not good. Kaken huffed, making a little crackle of explosions. Are you ignoring me, Deku? He came at me. It was getting tense in the observation room. Toshinori was watching the screens closely. Kirishima waved a hand to get his attention. Sir, isn't this getting a bit out of hand? Bakugo is acting real crazy. He's gonna kill some. Toshinori thought for a moment. Despite his fierce stance, he's not actually trying to kill Midoriya. Just scare him. Maybe injure him. But still. He tapped the button and contacted Bakugo again. Young Bakugo, use that stored-up power again and I'll stop this fight. You and your team will lose. Huh. Toshinori sighed. To employ such strong attacks indoors is inviting the destruction of the stronghold you should be protecting. That's a poor strategy whether you're a hero or a villain. The penalty would be a massive loss of points. Toshinori fidgeted more. He knew that, as a teacher, he should stop this fight now, but I kept talking to Uraraka. The pillar by the window. Get there now. Kaken growled. We'll fight hand-to-hand, Deku. He came at me with a blast. It's no good, I can't dodge this. I'll have to counterattack. I got ready, but Kaken changed direction. The students in the observation room gasped. What was that move? Zero asked. Todoroki spoke up. He doesn't come off as a guy with a strategy, but he's actually quite intelligent. Ashido blinked. What are you talking about? Todoroki tilted his head at the screen. He changed his trajectory while in midair using a blast that doubled as a smokescreen. Yaoyorozu nodded. Very clever. A feint attack like that requires an extreme amount of precision. He had to calculate the physics to demonstrate control over his quirk. Mina groaned. Bakugo is uber-talented. I hate it. Here it comes, nerd. Bakugo took a swing. That famous right hook you were talking about. It landed this time, unsteadying me. I looked at him, gritting my teeth. He just kept attacking. Deku, don't you ever forget, you'll never be as strong as even these other hero wannabes. Much less me. He's not giving me any time to form a strategy. I can't beat him without my gear after all, he's too good. Mina covered her eyes in the observation room. This is too hard to watch. All he had to do I wrap tape around him, not kill him. Kaminari nodded. He's really acting like a villain. Kirishima sighed. I thought Midoriya was pretty amazing at the start of the fight, but he's completely outmatched in terms of power. Not to mention, Bakugo seems like a natural at all this stuff. Toshinori looked a bit grim. And worried. He should stop this, but... He looked at young Midoriya, his apprentice. His student. He needed this. Needed to win or lose this on his own. Ashido pointed at the screen. He's running away. Kirishima huffed. Not very manly of him, but he doesn't have a choice. He's completely outgunned, unless he's got some sort of plan. Yaoyorozu looked deep in thought. It's possible. I was running again. And Bakugo kept up his chase after me. Why won't you use your demon gear against me? Bakugo yelled. Still think you can beat me without it? That's not it. What, do you think you're better than me now, with your fancy gear? That's not it, Kaken. I yelled. You've always been better than me, can't you see? That's why I want to beat you. Because you're amazing. Kaken's eye twitched. You're an even bigger idiot than I realized. Come at me. Toshinori watched the fight carefully. The only other time he heard this sort of passion in young Midoriya's voice was when he talked about heroes, or becoming a hero. In order to achieve his dream, he needs to do this. Overcome his fears, the way people have treated him, his own self-doubts. Not for me, but for himself. Toshinori froze when he heard Izuku say it. Detroit Dash. Izuku was getting ready for an attack, Bakugo was gearing up too. One of the students yelled at him. They're gonna kill each other. Sir. Toshinori started to get on the comms. Bothoff you, stop Dash. But then. Uraraka. Now. Right. Izuku smiled. I can't beat you in a one-to-one fight like this. But I can win. He aimed his blow upwards. Smash. Kaken gasped, shocked. Izuku destroyed the ceiling above them with the blast of air pressure from his gauntlets, the floor under Ida and Uraraka. Uraraka rushed to touch as much of the rubble as she could, floating in the air. Improvised special move, the Comet Home Run. Ida's eyes went wide. In the name of villainy, I demand you stop this. Release. She brought the rubble of the floor down on Ida and the weapon. She went in to grab the weapon, securing it from Ida. He gasped, no. The weapon. Kaken looked at me. This was your big plan the whole time, wasn't it? You were playing me this entire time, you be a CD. I wasn't going to use it Dash. He came up to me, grabbed me by the front of my costume. Because I can't control it. My arm fell likely to my side by now, broken. My body just can't handle the backlash yet. But this is all I could think of. I had started to tear up. This was the only way I had any chance of winning. Kaken stared at me for a moment, like he'd been struck. Then dropped me without another word. Toshinori stood up in the observation room. The kid did it. The hero team wins.